Fuck it, let's light up.
Let's light up, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Stoner Cinema on Gear Wizard TV. As always, I am the Wizard, your host, and the somewhat reluctant leader of this motley crew. But of course, I have a sidekick, my little buddy, JD. Welcome, JD.
Welcome, Wizard. Thank you for leading us, as always. And as always, I'm wondering, what are you smoking tonight?
An excellent question. Because this week, in honor of Cheech and Chong's next movie, I have some Cheech and Chong branded weed. This is a pre-roll called the Drooler.
Uh-oh.
And I haven't smoked enough yet to know if I'm going to drool.
So good.
I can tell you it is quite tasty.
Well, I'm hopeful that at some point you just start drooling during the show tonight.
It wouldn't be the first time. I am also happy to report Cheech and Chong use raw cones. The best cones.
So what is
Raw,
it?
by the way, just won their lawsuit against OCB. Those
OCB?
bastards at OCB, the rolling paper company. They
How
own
did it go?
Job and Zigzag.
Oh, okay.
They're like the big dog, and they have always had it out for Raw and tried to undercut them and sabotage them. And then they stole some intellectual property. So when OCB came out with their organic hemp papers, the marketing and label were almost an exact duplicate of Raw's organic hemp marketing and logo and everything. And Raw sued them, and well, actually, Raw called and asked them. Like Josh called and said, "Look, come on, can we talk about this?" And so they turned around and sued Raw for some bullshit stuff. So Raw countersued for the infringement and won just last week. Like
Nice.
$8.5 million, which he has already started donating
Awesome.
because Josh is a cool dude.
I
So
like
far.
to hear about the good guy winning these lawsuits.
You know, anymore you kind of hate though to say anything good about anybody because we just had another huge revelation last week, didn't we?
Yeah, well, you know.
But we don't want to talk about Mr. Gaiman today.
I was gonna say Alan Moore is still out there and impeccable. So just if you're a Neil Gaiman fan and you're looking for somebody else to like, go find Alan Moore. He wears all his demons on his sleeves.
There's very few secrets, if any, about Alan. We know
Exactly.
all of his bullshit. He's just crazy, though.
Right.
But let's not talk about anything else until we bring in the third member of our crew tonight.
Whoop whoop.
The mighty Jethro Bot coming in
How
from
you
Austin,
doing?
Texas.
Yep. Howdy, everybody.
The frozen tundra that is Austin, Texas.
Oh, yeah, it's really, whatever.
And I know it's probably no surprise to anybody that has wandered in. You're much more likely to know us from the other show, but Jethro Bot is the lead man, so to speak, on Total Recall, the show where we remember it for you.
Yep, and we have an episode tomorrow, and which means I'll probably have that link up tonight.
Because coming tomorrow, and we'll tell you if you should watch the Coneheads again.
Yeah,
or ever.
Coneheads, yeah.
I remember one thing about the Coneheads, and that is that Chili Peppers song. That's it. Is that even in the movie though? I just remember the video for that song had Coneheads.
I'm sure it must be in the movie because like there is a lot of like topical musical numbers. Like, it has that it has that score where it has the score, for like emotional notes, and then it becomes a music video, for a few minutes. Like
the score
some
and
movies,
soundtrack, and it's pretty heavy into both.
some movies are just like that.
Yeah. I never saw that one. I'll watch the episode, and you guys can tell me if.
And of course, tomorrow we'll talk about why it makes sense that it is the way it is, because it really, really does.
Mm-hmm.
Don't.
Yeah. Well, now
don't you want me? I promise there's a connection. But we didn't come here to talk about Coneheads. No, we came here to smoke weed and talk about Cheech and Chong's next movie.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Not a sequel to Up in Smoke.
Not a sequel to Up in Smoke in any way.
Nope.
They're actually playing themselves in this movie. You may remember in Up in Smoke, it's Pedro de Pacus, played by Cheech Marin, and Man, played by Tommy Chong.
Those characters were pretty similar to Cheech and Chong, though. In Up in
Smoke. Very much so.
Yes. Yeah. It's just
not a lot of real playing going on, I don't think.
Except Man is a drummer, and Tommy Chong plays guitar.
Right.
We learned in Cheech and Chong's next movie. What did you remember about it? When did you first see it? Let's go to JD first.
I had never seen this movie before.
Oh, this was the first time.
This was my very first time. The only Cheech and Chong movie I had ever seen was Up in Smoke. So I went into this one completely blind, not knowing anything about. I didn't even know whether or not they were playing the same characters from the first movie. I kind of realized that really quickly that they weren't, just because they were calling each other Cheech and Chong. I also felt like it didn't really matter because the story just kind of, we're just dropped into it, and it's two stoners driving around just like the first.
So did you have any expectations coming in? Like, you hadn't seen it. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I expected that it was going to be worse than Up in Smoke. I think in my head I decided that all of these movies just keep on getting worse, so I was bracing myself for that, and we'll talk about it. But
that's typical sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for comedy sequels, that's normally what happens.
Exactly.
It's very seldom that a comedy movie that has sequels are going to get better.
Right.
They usually don't gross as much. And they usually aren't as funny. And this movie definitely did not gross as much as Up in Smoke. It grossed enough, obviously. They made another movie.
Yeah.
They keep coming.
Cheech and Chong's next movie.
But yeah, this movie didn't make half the 109 million in late 70s money that Up in Smoke made.
Yeah. And I get it. And before we went on the air, I was talking to these gentlemen about how I've been watching a lot of David Lynch movies this week. R.I.P. to the maestro. And watching this movie, I feel like this is the closest a stoner comedy is ever going to come to being a David Lynch movie. And I think that that's probably one of the reasons why the box office was what it was. Because it's really fucking weird. Like, really weird.
Yeah.
In a way that I love.
Stuff in it.
Yeah.
And also, like, it's doing extremely well when it has weirdo characters just pop up out from nowhere.
Yeah.
That's when just like the first movie, that's when it hits its stride, is when, all of a sudden some bizarro person is affecting them, talking to them for a moment, hijacking the movie altogether, and then disappears.
And the vast majority of those folks were from the Groundlings comedy troupe.
And to clarify, you're talking about next movie.
Next
the
movie,
the Groundlings were not in Up in Smoke. But,
no,
yeah.
the Groundlings were not in Up in Smoke. But by next movie, they had pulled from this. And if you're not familiar with the Groundlings, they are kind of LA's answer to Second City in Chicago and Toronto, and the Improv for a long time in New York City, where the new young comics are going to get trained and also do their early stuff and kind of build their repertoire. So it's a big like it's a feeder into the rest of the comedy industry. A lot of folks from Saturday Night Live for a long time would come from Second City, and then later years, right after really this next movie, these are a lot of folks that you will have seen then went on into SNL out of the Groundlings. Like you're going to see Phil Hartman in this one. And who else came out of the Groundlings? Cassandra Peterson was a part of that for a while, I believe.
Yeah, Cassandra Peterson is in this movie.
Yes, she is.
And I think, didn't Victoria Jackson come from the Groundlings as well?
She did, I believe so. Yeah, she's not in this.
And John Lovitz maybe as well, or
I think so. Phil Hartman, though, definitely.
I mean, Edie
McClurg.
Yeah, that was the connection between Phil Hartman and Paul Reubens. Like, those two were in the Groundlings, and Phil Hart kind of helped develop Pee Wee Herman with Paul Reubens. Like, it was a Paul Reubens invention, but he and Phil were close, and
Did I think and miss Phil Hartman in this?
Yes. Phil Hartman has a brief cameo. It's one of his first appearances.
Was he a cop?
Fuck, I don't remember.
Yeah, because I don't remember him in this either. I know he's in it, but I didn't remember.
He's absolutely in it, and I cannot for the life of me remember.
Well, eyes are
now. He's the private eye. He's a private eye. He will pop up.
Okay.
Like, I know you're sitting there going, when was the private eye around?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. Because again, whatever
he's
the plot
in and
was
out
for this movie, I don't really know.
Yeah, it just goes all over the place.
Yeah.
It's basically like the same story as the first movie. The misadventures of these two, ridiculous people.
Right,
but,
getting a bunch of weed and not knowing what to do with it.
Yeah, but in this movie, they don't even have a goal. Like,
and we said that they were playing themselves.
Yeah,
and that's not totally fair.
Yeah,
because about halfway through the movie, Cheech is pulling double duty.
That's right.
Has Cheech Marin, but also has his cousin Red.
Yeah,
his cousin Red from West Texas. And boy, oh boy, I have mixed feelings. We're going to talk more about Red as we get there.
I can't wait to, as a West Texan, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on Red.
And I'm not going to spoil anything else. We're going to have some surprise appearances. We're going to have some first ever filmed appearances.
What does he say? He says sheep shit, right?
Sheep shit.
Sheep shit. Yeah. He says it a lot.
He says it a lot. He says a lot of things. And has one of my has a young man one of my favorite jokes. Anytime I got in the water, this water's getting warmer.
Yeah, yeller.
So when did you first see it, Jeff?
I would have had to have seen this like in my 20s, early 20s, once, because going into it, I really thought I had never seen this. I didn't remember seeing this at all. So, probably at the same time that I first watched Up in Smoke and Nice Dreams, except that I have more recollection of Up in Smoke and Nice Dreams. Like, for whatever reason, next movie just kind of you know, I wasn't sure that I had seen it, and there were just the vaguest memories, you know, like I knew Paul Rubens was in it, but sorry, yeah, but you know, that's one of the things that I remembered about it, but
he wasn't the hamburger man.
Right, he wasn't the hamburger man, but yeah, I saw, you know, just little snippets here and there where I was like, well, now, yeah, I have seen it, and that started like right away. Like you see them with the trash can, and I was like, wait a minute, I remember this bit, you know, like I'm not
I had
exactly
totally
sure where,
forgotten it.
yeah, I'm not exactly sure where all it goes, but I do remember this bit, and it is in relation to, like, there was a gas crisis in the 70s, you know, like it doesn't really get referenced too much in modern day, you know, society, but uh every once in a while you hear someone talk about the gas crisis. But yeah, it was a time when people were like waiting in line to get gas, and it's
We
not,
don't mean like 20 minutes. Like we mean
no
hours. We would
hours,
wait
yeah.
hours for gas.
Yeah, and it sometimes gets referenced in movies from the 70s, you know, but this, they're not even like, you know, like they're hardly even like referencing it, the
And you would just
crisis
think they're
itself.
poor.
Yeah, you would just think
It's
they're
just
stealing
about being
gas, but
poor.
there's a specific reason why they're stealing gas. It's because, you know, it costs an arm and a leg, and you have to wait hours to get it, you know.
So I had lost a lot of my memory of this because I saw it 7 times in 1 week. Uh, but it was a double feature with Up in
uh,
Smoke,
ah,
and it was at the drive-in.
uh-huh.
So we got baked to Up in Smoke, and by the
Mhm.
time this came on, I was high school high,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
hitting a bong because we're at the drive-in, and you could get away with that kind of shit.
Hmm.
And then I would watch Up in Smoke again after this because they would do movie one, movie two, and then movie one again, and usually fall asleep somewhere through the second running of Up in Smoke. But yeah,
Those
let's.
those were the good old days of drive-ins, man.
I miss it. It was so
Oh
much
yeah.
fun.
Oh yeah.
But let's go. It is.
And it has this like great like animated opening that is, you know, just kind of weird. Like it doesn't really tell a story. It just happens to have animated opening credits, and immediately this movie looks different than Up in Smoke. Looks and feels different, you know, even though it takes place in the same, you know, location and, you know, locale and time period. It there's no personnel behind the camera that went from film 1 to film 2.
And
I didn't
you're not
realize that
sure
it was.
what's going on here. They're just carrying a can of gas, carrying a big trash can.
Mm-hmm.
So the entire production team was different.
Yeah, yeah. There's no Jim Sheridan. Director Lou Adler did not come back. Neither of the producers. Um, you know, uh, pretty much just Cheech and Chong's deal, you know, this time around. But yeah, yeah, no one really came back. Different director of photography, different, you know, um, different composer of music.
And here's where you realize they didn't empty the garbage can first.
Yeah.
Because why would you?
Say this and say that towing. I wonder if they had that truck made, or if they just happened to be the towing company they got to use.
I had to guess that. Well, I don't know though. This is second movie. You've got a studio stepping in and go, "We're gonna make a real movie this time."
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they might have done something dumb like that.
Yeah, who knows?
it feels grittier somehow.
Yeah. That was my thought right away, is that it felt dirtier.
Yeah.
And, grittier, and just kind of realistic looking, really,
Yeah, it's much more real. The first one has more of a comic book sort of feel.
Right. Mm-hmm. The first one felt like they were making a movie to introduce the masses to, Cheech and Chong and what they were all about. This one felt like it was Cheech and Chong just
riffing.
Yeah, exactly. Just like
rolling with
hey,
yeah.
You're with us. If you're not, you're not. We don't care. Like this feels like it was more for the people who were already in on it.
Yeah. So this whole thing they did with the gas is terrible, because they got gas all over themselves and they poured gas all over their car.
Well, you might be wondering at this point, what are they doing? That does not seem like a Cheech and Chong car.
Yeah.
This is expensive. And it took me a while to remember that it is, in fact, a stolen car.
Yes. They stole this car. Yes.
Borrowed.
From their
neighbor.
They borrow their neighbor's car and then douse themselves in gasoline and then just sit in the car and smoke weed in it.
Yeah.
Oh, people might not have known they were going to smoke weed, dude. Spoiler.
No, he was just rolling it. See,
I'm kidding.
There he is. He's doing it now.
I'm selling it. I sold 2 lids to myself. Does anyone besides me remember the days of buying weed by the lid?
No.
I've never bought a lid. No. It was always 8s and quarters.
That's all we could buy were lids, man. If some guys would sell you a half lid, but that was pretty rare.
I mean, I remember just buying nickel and dime bags, and I don't know that there was any weight or, uniformity to what those looked like, but they $5 and $10. Usually you could get 1 joint out of a nickel and 2 or 3 out of a dime.
Yeah, we had the lid, which would probably work out today to be about an ounce, except,
that's
they
like
were
a whole
usually
jar.
sticks and seeds.
Mm-hmm.
But it was about equivalent to an ounce today. Of course, not nearly as potent.
So they were catcalling at that woman and then reversed to try to get her attention and almost hit a police officer. Right?
Like you do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're always running afoul of the cops. And then as soon as they get away from him, what's he do?
Cheech brings up the gas fumes.
Mm-hmm.
But it was too late.
Too late. You just can't tell Chong anything.
Nope. Boom.
Wasn't there a fart joke there too, though?
There's a lot of fart jokes in this movie. Yeah, again,
Farts
they go
funny.
Yeah, they go low a lot. It's
like I think Cheech forgot that they had spilled gas on themselves and thought the smell of the gas was his own fart.
Oh yes, he does. He does actually rip a fart in the car. That's right. You're absolutely right.
Now we're gonna break onto the movie studio.
Yeah, I was confused about that. Did they work for the movie studio or no?
No.
Okay.
No.
But they know people.
They know people
who work for the movie studio. And so they frequently help themselves to close in this case.
It does give them an opportunity to make fun of people who make movies.
By the way, I'm going to look for him tonight because I didn't know this when I watched the movie. But somewhere in here, uncredited, is a very, very brief first film appearance by Scott Thompson from The Kids in the Hall.
Oh.
But I can't even find anybody who knows where he is. He's here somewhere.
Who plays the Hulk type character that he?
Wamba?
Yeah.
Who played Wamba? That was Jake Steinfeld, who was a Body by Jake.
Oh.
That's the Body by Jake guy.
It's a Body by Jake guy. How about that?
70s and 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And also an actor in films. Sometimes.
Because,
cheap, stupid films.
Yeah.
Like
we need a barbarian. We need a guy with a body.
Mm-hmm.
Him and the Barbarian Brothers was who you were going to call.
So they were just there to get clothes.
Yeah.
I zoned out a little bit, and I just wasn't sure what they were doing.
I'll tell you a secret. I'll lick you all over for a dime.
Yeah, it's just one of many ladies that Cheech knows.
Cheech is a player. Help me, Wamba.
There he is. Body by Jake. Comes crashing through the wrong wall. And they run away.
Because, he asked Cheech where to go.
Yeah.
But Cheech knew him. Did you? That wasn't, hey, Cheech.
Right.
Yeah. They know everybody.
And this is the neighbor whose car they stole.
Okay.
And he just puts the
That's why
the tarp back over it like nothing happened.
Guy'll never even know it was gone. This man loves his roses.
Is that the same neighbor who they borrowed the car from, whose roses they destroy? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same guy. This is like a...
So they just hate their neighbor.
This is like a gentrification thing, right? It's because they're talking about, what's going on in LA at the time. And, this is probably one of the things. You would have neighbors like this.
Just on one side, your neighborhood,
on one side you got the slumlords, and on the other you got the guys who are coming in and trying to fancy the neighborhood up with their skinny numbers.
Because I bought this house cheap.
Yep.
The van transformation scene that's coming up is one of my favorites.
Quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the interest of this being like a cartoony movie, Cheech and Chong essentially have superpowers.
This is so funny though, running the...
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to do this. I thought this would be so cool.
Do you have a neighbor that you hated enough to do this to?
No, I don't think they're doing this to the neighbor.
I think he's...
This is just what we do.
Yeah.
That's what you moved into, buddy.
Yeah.
He was going to do that.
What is he doing with the motorcycle then?
He just has it inside so he can rev it up and pretend like he's riding.
All right. I thought that it was inside so he could destroy the guy's roses. Okay.
No, he's just doing his thing.
I didn't know that was a thing that anyone has ever done, ever.
Well, it's a joke. I mean, this is a comedy. It's not a documentary.
I want this pipe.
And
really? It looks like a huge pain in the ass. It looks like a huge pain in the ass.
Oh, it is. It totally is. That doesn't mean I don't want it, and I wouldn't use it every once in a while.
Would you use it to smoke a cockroach?
No, I would not put a cockroach. I have never been that desperate for weed, and I have been desperate. I have smoked resin out of a bong down stem. I have spent an afternoon breaking open roaches.
Yep.
And getting the leftover weed.
Who hasn't done that?
Hundreds of roaches. But no, not an actual cockroach, because he
takes a big hit of that cockroach, almost dies, and then lights up that giant pipe and takes another big hit.
Yeah. And now Cheech is singing My Scrotum.
No, this is Chong doing his solo.
Oh.
His incredibly loud.
Yeah.
Man of War level solo.
Yeah, this poor guy.
I do
He's
like,
he's trying to do a piano lesson, and now his roses are dead. I mean, you got to feel for him. These are terrible, terrible neighbors. I mean,
he knew what he was getting into when he bought that house.
They're monsters.
I don't know.
Yes. Look at the rest of the neighborhood.
Yeah, but they're still the worst ones in the neighborhood.
Maybe. Yeah, he's playing a very loud guitar.
And she's like, I can't get the door open because the music is so loud.
That's a great shot right there.
This is what Chong does while Cheech goes to work.
Yeah.
Except now Cheech is fired.
So once again, Cheech and Chong are unemployed, and they need to find money. I guess
But
vaguely
But Cheech found a slot machine.
Mm-hmm.
Cheech picked up a slot machine. From the movie studio. And crushed his neighbor with it. I also want that big tiki head.
Yeah, I basically want all the contents of this van. I mean, there are a couple slot machines in my shed. Like, I've just one giant tiki. I just one giant tiki head away from recreating those.
Dude, he also has the chicken thing that spits the eggs out.
Yeah.
Chicken spins around and spits an egg out the bottom.
Yeah, that's in storage right now, but yes.
That thing's awesome.
Oh, you really do have slot machines?
Yeah, yeah. Well, 2 slot machines that were gifted to me, basically. And like they have their own change, like you don't put quarters in them, they just have their own change. So just sit there and play slot machines, just like if you were actually gambling, but you're not. The only thing you're wasting is time.
And is it really wasted?
It gets to that point. Yeah, it's entertaining at first, and then after a while, you're like, you know what? This is There's a reason why gambling is involved with this. It's not entertaining all on its own.
Right. There we go. Here's the van transformation.
Yes, converting the van because they're getting no respect from the lowriders.
Right.
And it is a beautiful van.
By the way, we actually did this with my best friend's cousin.
Just drove through a Mexican neighborhood and shouted pendejo?
No, we taught him that.
Taught him to say pendejo as meaning good friend.
Pendejo as good friend.
Did he get
hilarious.
Killed?
Oh, he got looks, man.
Like, I bet.
It was funny, but then we'd start laughing, and they'd figure out what had happened, and they thought it was funny too.
Now they have a what do you call this? A bounce off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once again, the recurring theme with Chong in this movie is he's a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everything has to be extreme. He has no off button.
Mm-hmm.
The guitar is up as loud as it can go. The motorcycle is wide open.
Yeah.
And I am not going to stop bouncing.
Yeah.
And the look, what's beautiful though is the look on his face when Cheech is freaking out and he is so happy.
And I guess like bounce off competitions, that's a real thing. And
It is.
you get hydraulics in your car and you bounce them real good. You want to compete, But yeah, they wound up in someone's front yard accidentally, and he calls everyone pendejos because that means good friend, according to Cheech.
And don't ask how they wound up in somebody's yard, because I swear it was just bouncing on the street. So it just bounced all the way. Okay.
Yes, it bounced all the way in because he was going overboard with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me have a drink of your juice. Okay. It's his It's his sister's pee though. It's his sister's pee.
Right. He has it for a drug test, right?
Yes. And she's pregnant.
Right.
And she's pregnant. There we go.
Great timing.
But they're out of weed.
Yeah, they also established that they're out of weed. And of course, because he has a jar of urine, like they can't just have a jar of urine. It's got to splash around.
Right.
But, like.
Hey, Chong deserves this.
Yeah, of course.
For letting Cheech drink it.
That's right. Mishaps of.
Big old bag of cocaine.
Yeah, now he's going to play another trick on, all this one-upmanship.
Let me try some. No, you can have some. All right, let me just get a smell.
Look, he never tells him it's Coke. He just says it looks like it and smells like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, he does. Yeah, he says, "What do you think it is?"
Mm-hmm.
Like tries to talk him out of doing it.
Yeah.
And finally, he lets him have a sniff.
Makes him promise not to snort it.
Right.
Let me smell it.
And it's soap. So what does he do? He reaches for the jar of urine.
Well, mishaps with large containers of urine, that's just comedy gold right there.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've watched Trailer Park Boys, and there's piss jug jokes aplenty, but anytime somebody has to handle urine and then you make it funny, I mean, that's
I don't know. I've never seen Trailer Park Boys.
Oh my God!
There's lots of piss drinking. Then I'll check it out.
Honestly, we could do a show where we just talk about Trailer Park Boys every week.
Yeah.
It's the best.
He has his dad is a truck driver, and for a while in the show, he starts, slinging his piss jugs around the park. And anytime anyone complains about it, he's just like, it's the way of the road. And they're like, it's not on the road.
But there's some good weed in Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
And hash coins.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would love to see become a thing.
There's a lot of that's really what it's all about. It's just
why do we need Bitcoin when we can have hash coin? So much more fun than crypto.
I was gonna say, be careful what you say, because those guys, I would not put it past them for them to try and get into the crypto market.
No, I don't want a crypto called hash coin. I want actual hash coins.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you put that out in the universe, the next thing you know, that's what's happening.
So Trailer Park Boys was a show from 2001 to 2007, but then again from 2014 to 2018. Is it the same show?
Yes.
It is,
Okay.
yes.
It's the same three guys in the same trailer park in Nova Scotia.
As the show went on, people quit. Some folks have passed away. So, characters change.
But
We've
it's
had
always Julian. It's
Yeah.
always Ricky. And it's
And
always
Bubbles.
Bubbles. I bought a hot dog from Julian. I bought 2 hot dogs from Julian
Mm-hmm.
and ate them.
Yeah, if you go see them perform live, like they do lots of that, like ridiculous, you know, shilling and stuff. Like
They sell hot
like,
dogs.
yeah, they basically they come
Julian
on stage
does.
and they're like, yeah, does anyone want some hot dogs? Just hot dogs from us that are like $20 or something. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Hey man, I got to make some money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They ain't paying me enough for this kid. Just doing it out of a little cooler. I couldn't resist. So yeah, this is where he finds out he got fired. He just got fired because he took the van home.
Mm-hmm.
It was also confusing that unless his workplace did all that work to the van to make it so cool.
It's a covert thing. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, these guys have magical powers.
They do.
Like, they're not just a couple of screw ups. Like, anytime they have an idea, they somehow magically make it happen. I mean, all this shit.
More pea humor.
Yep. And then look, just when you think things can't get any worse, like he pees on you.
More pea humor.
I wouldn't take out your daughter if she had 10 tits is a pretty good line. I don't think I'll ever get a chance to actually use that, but I would love to.
So smile if you're horny. That's a good shirt.
Is Michael Winslow coming?
Yes.
He's coming.
We are at the welfare office. Both to get not to get welfare, but because Cheech knows a girl that works there.
Yeah. Well, I thought Chong was there to get welfare.
Okay, you're right. Chong is there to get welfare. Cheech is there to meet Donna.
Yeah. Cheech has a main squeeze. But Cheech will also be collecting unemployment now, too.
Weird thing I learned while researching this, the girl that plays Donna, who goes on to play Donna in at least 2 other movies with them, in 1980 was the first Latina to ever be featured in Playboy.
Oh.
Which I found surprising.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well.
I wouldn't have expected it to take that long.
I'm
it turns out even
Playboy's politics is pretty disgusting. Like,
well, the whole thing is, I'm not saying that. It just still was very surprising. Yeah. But yeah, very shortly, while Chong is waiting, we are going to have one of the first, if not the first, appearances of Mr. Winslow in a film.
Yeah,
he's doing what he does.
Yep, and he would have been.
It is the first.
He would have been the stand-up comedian at this, at this time in his career. So they just pulled him off, probably because Cheech and Chong started out with stand-up. So they're just helping out fellow comedians.
And they bring him back in Nice Dreams.
He really had a big decade.
Yeah. You know, if he played his cards right, he probably could have retired after the 80s and, you know, never had to work again.
Well, who knows what he was actually making, though. I mean, he had a big decade appearance-wise, but he might have only been getting 10,000 to roll. I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, he's in Spaceballs, and that's always going to get him residuals. You know, people might not return to Police Academy films too much, but he's always going to be getting checks from Spaceballs.
I'm sure he's getting those 20-cent checks every month.
I bet it's more than that. I really do.
I hope so.
His stuff here is it's very clever, and it's not over the top, as in, you know, he is a somewhat mentally deranged man. So.
Right.
Yeah.
He does a lot of facial distortion in this scene, in addition to the noises that I thought was pretty impressive. He's very elastic in the mouth. And this laughing old man.
It's right my favorite, yes.
He's so good. Was he somebody? I did not look him up, but
I did not either. I didn't even think about it. And
those two guys are part of what makes this scene so great. Is that
absolutely,
you know, Michael Winslow's having a ball, and they both love him, but they're both like, you know, just two very different personalities that you don't even meet. They're just there, you know, but they love what Michael Winslow is doing in this scene. They're enjoying him. That old man is like laughing uncontrollably. And so is Chong. Like, Chong looks very naturalistic there, you know. He looks like kind of just pretty much how you would look if you suddenly found yourself sitting next to that in the unemployment office.
And
office welfare, whatever.
No, I can't even find a credit for
it's John Stedman.
Oh, you found him.
I did. Yeah, John Stedman. He was an American actor, radio personality, and editor. He appeared in the cult horror film The Hills Have Eyes.
No shit.
Dirty O'Neill.
He's the gas station dude, right? The gas station guy who has, you know, kind of an agreement with the Hill people.
It says he played Fred. Oh yeah, the gas station owner and father of Puppet Jupiter. Absolutely.
So this scene gets remembered by a lot of people that remember this movie.
Yes.
Yeah, the Mexican American song.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's talking about Mexican Americans and how they go to night school and take Spanish and
get a B.
Get a B.
That line killed me.
And then Chong's like, while you were singing that, I thought of another song.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like the same thing.
Yeah. And he just says beaners, and
that's it.
That's all he says is beaners, and
at one point he does say beaners, gonna eat beans.
Right.
Yeah.
Gonna kick you in the face.
And I don't know if it had like humorous shock value at the time, but I really felt like this joke just completely falls flat and is, you know, like, yeah.
No, it was one of those, I can't believe he did that.
Mm-hmm. Any goodwill that you got from Cheech's song is just suddenly destroyed.
Right.
Alas.
And now we're setting up the transition because Cheech is talking to Donna, and she's going to come over tonight, even though she just got fired for having sex with him at work. And he's going to kick Chong out.
To go get his cup.
Here.
And now Cheech just disappears from the movie for about 45 minutes.
Now they pop in every once in a while.
Yeah, it becomes story B. You
What's
know,
he doing?
They just pop in on him. Yeah. and it's a gag because then he finds himself just waiting. I mean, you'll see, but yeah, it just becomes a recurring gag callback.
But as Chong is getting ready to leave, we get a call from our cousin.
Mm-hmm. His cousin Red has come into town.
He's not happy. That it's so nice
No.
to see you as well. Oh, it's so nice to hear from you.
Yeah. He's not looking forward to spending any time with Red.
Especially
Perfect
not
opportunity. Yeah.
since it's going to impinge on his time with Donna.
Yeah. Perfect opportunity for him to get rid of Chong by just passing him on to Red. You take Red. Yeah, he likes to get down.
Don't bring him here. Take him to clubs. Take him to concerts.
Yeah. And this character Red, this also comes from their stand-up. You know, they would do, characters other than just Cheech and Chong when they did their stand-up, and this is like Cheech's white guy, or I guess like West Texan. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a West Texas oil billionaire.
Yeah.
It's not like you see on Dallas oil millionaires, but like I owned a bunch of land and they found oil on it. And now I got me a lot of money and I do whatever fuck I want.
Like a Jed Clampett. Oil.
Yeah, more like a West Texas Jed Clampett.
And even though he's an oil millionaire, he's really excited that he has
or kind of like
worth some money.
You and I have a South Texas, not oil millionaire, but land millionaire friend.
We do?
No, me and Jethro Buck.
Yeah.
Who is, you would not think that.
No.
At all.
No, it's very unassuming. Very unassuming.
He's his own version of Red.
Here he is. So Red is played by an actor who looks a lot like Cheech Marin.
Yeah.
A lot.
Google actually said that it was someone named Nikki Marin, which is Cheech's
No.
wife. I know.
No,
got
Cheech's
really
wife is in this movie.
Yeah, that must be.
She plays a character named Beautiful Girl. Like, that's the only reference to her. And yeah, Red's confused because he thought it was $37.50 for a week, not a goddamn day.
Is she the character that they're about to meet that gives them the flyer? Is that who?
Could be.
She just pops in. It's but yeah, here's Paul Rubens, and he is doing, Pee-wee kind of. I mean, he's not doing a Pee-wee voice, but
he is not Pee-wee yet.
Yeah,
but he is being a very smarmy hotel clerk.
And he cusses a lot, and you don't often see Paul Rubens cuss. He doesn't do a whole lot of that in movies.
And then we have these two folks for no reason at all.
They're making fun of how white people have sex.
Well,
yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Her voice during this is hilarious.
Yeah, she's great. I mean,
it's Mr. Hoo-Ha.
I would have sex like this. I mean, I know they're making a stereotype here, but guilty as charged. Bring a puppet. We'll have some fun.
As a white person, that's what we have to do.
That's white people kink.
There's a lot of
bring out the
mayonnaise rooted in truth, shall we say.
It happens. And when I say it happens, I mean stereotypes rooted in truth and mayonnaise in bed if you're white.
I've never gone that far.
You just have your mayonnaise.
Or ranch.
My partner hates mayonnaise. So. You and the ranch. Jeff loves him some ranch.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's good. I mean,
Ranch is not created equal, though. I can't
No,
have
that's
Hidden
true.
Valley Ranch.
I
Sorry if you like it, but
really
I cannot
like
have it.
his cut in this movie. I don't think that gets talked about enough.
His cut?
His hair?
Yeah, he's wearing a motorcycle jacket, like a gang jacket
Yeah.
with a gang patch on the back. But it is not a motorcycle club. It is Roach's TC instead of MC.
Ah.
But so it really looks like that. Then that's what the bikers call their vests. Or it's called your cut.
And he has a patch
Oh,
that
I
says
see.
Chong, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He does have a patch that says Chong, yeah.
So,
the cops won't come, so he says, I think they're Iranians,
Yeah.
which was also a big deal at the time.
Yeah.
This is when the hostages were being held in Iran.
Yeah, so as soon as he says Iranians, they come in full force. But
right.
Before that, you get the idea that this guy calls the cops all the time, and they don't really want to respond.
No, this time I mean it.
Yeah.
And then we find out that while Red
weed.
doesn't have any money, he does have
an insane amount of weed. Yeah.
many pounds of weed. And it's all tops. He didn't bring all of it. He just brought the tops of the plants. So it's all the big colas.
And why does he have no money?
Because he just brought weed. He figured he'd sell it.
Okay. But he is a millionaire.
Nah, he has a lot of land where he grows a lot of weed, but like.
Yeah, it's about $50,000 worth of weed.
And you don't necessarily have money in your pocket all the time, and you don't really need it all the time, because I just sell me some weed.
Oh, people.
Yeah.
Good grief. Good grief. Well, yeah, when we watched Up in Smoke, we made the comment that for a movie from the late 70s that's about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, it had aged quite well and was very seldom, if at all, problematic. And next movie did not get that memo.
No.
There is a lot of just really raunchy racial humor and lowbrow, punching down. We didn't mention it, but Chong gets a ride from a motorcycle leather daddy, who then hits on him when he drops him off, and it's not even funny. It's almost like he's gay is the punchline. It's just
And in 1980,
I did not take that one that way. I felt in no way they're making fun of it. It was more the
this is what life in LA is like, perhaps, or
he threw it out there. It was a very casual thing. It was a very polite thing, and then his response was just pity.
You're right. Yeah. Because of course, Chong is irresistible.
Yeah, and Chong was in no way offended or anything. It was just nah, man.
I think the
I don't know. To me, it came off kind of positive.
Yeah.
The joke.
Just want to give a shout out to Adam, who's here.
Adam.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave's not here, man.
Our friend. Yeah.
The joke that ages the poorest, I think, is the one about Chong's name.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's
definitely coming up later.
Yeah. I like this outfit she's wearing.
And unfortunately, we're the whitest crowd here to have this conversation, but
correct, yeah.
Is it different because they're people of color?
Is
than if these were white people?
Of color?
Yes, Tommy Chong is Chinese, half Chinese, legit.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
Oh well, you know what? Yeah. That changes then. I think
the whole Chong thing is
I actually thought Tommy Chong was a white guy, and the whole Chong thing was just an inherently racist, like.
Oh no, his dad is Chinese. Mr. Chong
Oh,
is very Chinese,
oh, well, that changes.
and his mom's Canadian. So
Oh, what do you guys say?
They didn't even give Cheech like white face. He has like silver face or something. I don't understand really what's going on with his
No.
face.
Yeah, I didn't know.
no,
it was
it's
supposed
all
to be a white
strange.
guy here.
Yeah, it's very strange. I mean, I think that you know, if you're funny, like you can get away with a lot. You know,
Yeah.
the issue is just whether or not you're funny, because if you're really leaning hard on, you know, stuff with race, stuff with sexism, stuff with homophobia, and you're not funny, like no one's
Yeah,
gonna
there's
like
no
it.
way.
No one's gonna like it, and honestly, that's your fault. But if you are funny, then you get to bend the rules, you know, like because, you know, I mean, there's a lot of, like, I often talk about, like, are you punching up? Are you punching down? Are you punching inward? You know, Up in Smoke is a great example of something that, like, you know, it's the jokes that it's making are all pretty much inward, you know, like very interior, like kind of like inward punching, you know. But and that's more or less the case here too. But they are branching out a little bit into, you know, more negative material. And you know, it not only like can you get away with that stuff if you're funny, it is more difficult to be funny, you know, to maintain that, you know, like what you're doing. And on that note, Red does definitely get long in the tooth, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
The bit gets old, you know. Like I got
Pretty
it, you
quick.
know. I got it already.
Yeah.
I get what you're going for, you know.
Now we're starting to get more of an influx, by the way, of the Groundlings.
Yeah.
This guy here, who is actually credited in the movie as Chicken Charlie,
Mm-hmm.
for reasons that will be obvious, is the brother of Edie McClurg. And they were both Groundlings.
They were both Groundlings. Cool.
Yeah, I didn't realize until I did the research for this that they were actually brother and sister, although they're playing a couple here.
Mm-hmm.
And Chong and Red have somehow wound up in a brothel.
Yes, a
Because
massage
that
parlor.
girl invited them to a party.
Yeah.
And that's the
Well,
party.
no, now they're going to a party. They met her at the brothel / massage parlor.
But they were given a flyer by somebody on roller skates, and that's how they found out.
Oh, okay, that's right. That's how they wound up.
Yeah, the lady in the nice outfit. Yeah, and I feel like when this movie is like, you know, kind of being like, you know, super lowbrow or racist or sexist, it's not as funny as when it's just being like, you know, really off the rails. You know,
Right.
The weirder this movie gets, the more enjoyable it is. You know,
Yeah, that's what I really like, the surreal moments.
Yeah, it goes. Yeah, just gonzo at times.
Mick, you mentioned that you had some complicated feelings about Red as a West Texan.
Not as a West Texan, just as a character that
Mm-hmm.
I think Jethro Bot encompassed. It grows old real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's funny for a little bit, and he does funny things every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it gets old.
Yeah,
and grating.
It's exemplified by the fact that he has a catchphrase, you know, which he uses way too many times.
It made me wish that Cheech would just come back a lot.
Yeah, and then it goes back to Cheech, and you know he's just kind of, it's the same joke over again, where it's like, look, he's still waiting to get laid, ha ha ha, you know, like it's you know.
Although Red's cover of "Treat Me Like a Fool" was perhaps his finest moment in the movie.
Adam Gray pointed out that it was an enema parlor.
Yes, an enema parlor.
Right, enema or massage. I'll take a massage.
Once again, Chong is going far too much and blows out the amplifier. Holy sheep shit. And we have the continuing adventures of Chong and Red.
Mm-hmm.
Smoking weed and hopping in some girl's car.
Yeah, we noticed that the comically large joints in this movie aren't quite as comically large or as comical as they are in Up in Smoke. They look a little bit more reasonable.
While still being far too big.
Yeah. But they look possible, you know, like.
How many cars did they steal in this movie? It's a few.
They didn't steal this one. The people
Was this
were
the
still
valet
with them.
one?
Yeah, it's their car. They brought them with them, right? Yeah.
I thought that was the car that some guy gives them to valet.
Oh, you're right.
Maybe that comes up later. Or was that the...
But no, this is the home of the fancy girl that they hooked up with.
Yeah.
Gloria.
Look at how those guys stick out in that living room. Like, you know, this is not... Oof.
And there we have the wonderful Edie McClurg,
Mm-hmm.
who went on to be in so many things.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Yeah, she's just fantastic. She's, you know, a character actor that, you know, you immediately recognize her. You might not remember her name, but as soon as you hear her voice, see it and see, you know, very distinct voice.
I think Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles are probably the...
I was going to say her role in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is my favorite of all time.
Was she the one who worked the
car rental?
The rental counter? Okay,
yes.
Right.
And you're fucked.
Because she plays that, she's get that, like, just really proper, polite, but then, like... the profanity that comes, because I think it was like a very similar thing in Ferris Bueller's. Like, I feel like there was a punchline where she drops an F-bomb or something in that movie that
she calls Ferris a rad dude.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off in a long time.
I hope I never have to sit through it again.
Yeah,
as long as I live. Yeah, I hate that movie.
Really?
Wow.
Do you always hate it, or you just hate it because maybe?
No, I hated it. I didn't want to watch it the first time I saw it, and then I watched it, and I hated that movie.
Wow.
I hate Ferris Bueller.
This might be one of those generation gap things.
Oh God.
You were a little.
I hate Matthew Broderick. Like viscerally, I can't help it. It's just the sight of him angers me. and while yes, he is a horrible person in real life.
Did he say
that's not why? Person? That's not why. Oh yeah, he's done some just evil, horrible things. Oh yeah. Not a good guy. And Ferris Bueller is not a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's
the
villain.
True.
He's
but
the villain in that movie.
Matthew Broderick seems like a Tom Hanks type of guy to me. Like beyond reproach, just some nice guy who I've never read anything bad about him.
Yeah, he killed.
ruin this
He
one.
killed some people.
Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah, he's not a good guy. But we didn't come here to talk about Matthew Broderick. So no, don't rant, Mick.
If we don't rant, we don't have a show.
I hate that I found this hilarious when I was a young man, and
he makes a boner joke.
Yes, and I hate that I still found it hilarious when I saw it here.
No, I really enjoyed the boner joke. I thought it's funny
because it's childish, but it's also it's pure. Just ain't that a peach?
Oh, he really did kill people. Sorry, I went off on my own little Matthew Broderick tangent there.
Yeah,
and we're gonna leave it at that. But I thought you were just being silly when you said that he killed some people. Okay.
It helps that he married that woman I also hate viscerally. So.
Yeah. Jethro Bot, if you don't know what we're talking about, you're probably over there like, wait, what?
I actually did not know that he killed people, but I don't. I'll look it up. But yeah, but this is great because now she's like, getting high with them and hanging out, and when you first meet her, you think like this is it. She's not going to be able to tolerate these guys, and now
she's having a blast.
Yeah, now she's having a blast. Yeah, and she's really funny in all these scenes. These
and her husband,
moments.
is very uncomfortable because this is the man that they ran into at the massage parlor who likes to pretend to be a chicken.
Oh yes, Chicken Charlie. Yeah,
Chicken Charlie, and he's in the back seat with the lady of the evening that he likes to be a chicken with.
Ah, wow.
Yeah. This is all interrelated in kind of some fascinating ways. Like there's a darkness to it that is almost good.
Yeah.
From here.
Suddenly a Bergman film.
Because he is so uncomfortable and she is having a blast being somebody that she is typically not.
Yeah. Lots of wonderful exterior shots, of LA in this movie too. They really go all over the place. It's great to see it, just kind of a snapshot from this time period. And this was also a movie made in, when hot pants were really popular. If you didn't notice already.
And they sold a lot more Nair depilatory cream during this era by playing up on the hot pants thing.
Mm-hmm.
They had a catchy little tune.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right.
Wasn't it about we wear short shorts?
That was it.
You got it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so earlier we saw Paul Reubens being a smarmy hotel clerk, who, it turns out on the side, performs at this nightclub as Pee Wee Herman. And this is the first like film or television appearance of this character.
Did Paul Reubens like portray Pee Wee on stage?
Yes, he had been doing that at the Groundlings. But this was not long before the HBO special that they did of that show, which if you've never seen it is brilliant, and was also, that was my second exposure to Pee Wee.
This scene, this scene makes me sad because I really want to see Pee Wee's set.
What's the name of that special?
I think it's just called the Pee Wee Herman Show.
The
Pee Wee Herman Show. Yeah. And it was something that they had already been doing that this exact same show that you would go and see live. And Phil Hartman was playing
Captain Carl.
Captain Carl, yeah. God, forgot the name there, but yeah.
Captain Carl, the original zombie.
Yeah, he's zombie as well. Yeah, that's right.
And Edie McClurg.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of it's a much more adult version of Pee Wee Herman than what you wound up with. Yeah.
Yeah, Edie McClurg. I cannot remember her name. She lives up in the mountains, and she'd come down to town for her supplies. And now we're gonna get he has taken over the stage because he pissed off Pee Wee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he chased.
You think you
chased
can do
Pee
better?
Wee away. Mm-hmm.
Her joke here is so funny because of the delivery. It's such a dumb joke, and I can't even remember what it was right now. It was
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the brilliance of Edie McClurg right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she says the punchline and she's so proud of herself, and nobody laughs, and then she dies laughing, and then everybody just gives her a laugh and gets her off the stage. It's just really well done.
I do really like the joke about lifting the balls to see the clock. It's a good joke. That's a good joke.
And then Chong's gonna tell a joke.
Mm-hmm.
She did always have good comedic timing, Barbara. I agree.
And Chong is just going to give us the same joke that Red had told earlier. Except I'm going to turn this glass into a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, which, I mean, easiest joke there is, right?
Quite a peach.
Yeah.
Oh.
And finally, Pee Wee has found somebody to beat up Chong.
Yeah, little transvestite humor.
Thumbelina, yeah. Well, they wanted to cover all their bases,
Right.
Get everybody.
And I think, when I said that they steal that car, that they valet park, I think I had my scenes wrong. I think it's when they leave this club.
Yeah.
Get into it.
Mm.
Yeah, because that fancy car belonged to Gloria.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a car guy, but I really like the car that they're about to get into. And maybe one of you knows what kind of car it is.
I definitely will not know what kind of car it is. So, no way.
That one right there. Is it a Stingray? That's in my head.
No, that is not a vet. No, I don't know. That's some weird exotic thing.
That's a red car.
I like it though.
It has a T-top. When I was a kid, my mom had a Camaro with the T-top. They look really cool, but man, it's inconvenient.
Yeah, they suck.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not even a T-top. It's something different. I don't know.
Convertible.
Yeah.
It's got a removable hardtop.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
License plate on that car is OU812.
Ah.
Which was later absconded by Van Hagar for one of their album names.
That's right. Oh, you don't like that band, huh? Why can't this be love?
Barbara thinks it's a Ferrari. And I will not disagree. I
I
don't
have no
know.
reason to. Yeah.
I have no reason to doubt Barbara. Then we go back to this really, I don't know. Every time we come back to him, it starts to kill the momentum again.
Yeah.
It's got a nice payoff.
Yeah, once this is where we get to his dream. He's going to be dreaming, and that's a, I feel like the last 15 minutes of this movie really go kind of wacko. Like it's a lot of fun. They just get weirder. It just gets weirder and weirder as it goes.
It sure does.
It's a long way to get there.
Yeah.
So another fun fact about Miss Evelyn Guerrero, who's playing Donna here, she later married Pat Morita.
Really?
Yes.
Pat, you old dog.
And they got married in 1994.
Wow.
She married Pat Morita in 1994?
Yeah.
Way to go, Morita.
Yeah. They must not have had that long together. Maybe Pat Morita lived longer than I thought he did.
No, they had like 11 years, I think.
Huh.
I want to say it was 2005.
In Dreams, Cheech has a fantastic suit. I mean, look at that thing.
Beautiful. Yeah, that is a classic zoot suit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a fantastic chain too. But it's just a dream, and now he's having the stuffed animal blow him. So,
like we all do sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Donna finally shows up.
Right. But he's too busy getting blown by a stuffed animal.
He's asleep.
She's a knockout.
And he talks in his dreams, though.
Pat, you old dog.
Yeah, we are still deep in our dream. But Donna has become evil in the dream.
And he's yelling at her, and she thinks that.
Yeah, he starts screaming, and she's
Poor Donna.
Specifically, get out of here, Donna.
Yeah. Ruins his date with her.
Why is there sexual tension with the dog? I don't know how to pin that comment, but
a Dino GTS.
And Barbara just looked up the car. There you go. You're not supposed to call it a Ferrari, but it is a Ferrari, right?
But it is. It is a Ferrari.
Gotcha.
There you go. So yay, Barbara. Excellent research skills.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm calling it a Ferrari.
Yeah, the front end of it looked really familiar, those recessed headlights. Wonder if I had a toy one of those when I was a kid or something.
Speaking of superpowers,
you can get a used one of those cars for about $600,000.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Cheech and Chong and Red are making it from L.A. to his farm in West Texas in what appears to be a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're in a Ferrari
mm-hmm.
And go through a wormhole, it's possible.
Oddly enough, I've made that drive in an incredibly short amount of time. You can do that in 23 hours. It's not easy.
Yeah, I actually did that drive. I did that drive from LA to Austin, and that involved, like, without getting a hotel room, just doing the whole thing straight. But that involved like me sleeping in shotgun with the towel over my face while the other person drove, and vice versa. So, but yes, you can make it in a day. it's a boring fucking drive to go the fastest route from LA to Austin. So fucking boring.
There's some beautiful parts of the desert in Arizona, though.
Yeah. I like how those swallow cacti. They're huge. You have no idea how big those things are, man. Holy sheep shit, they're huge. All right, we're digressing.
Yeah. So we've made it to his farm, and we're in his weed field, and the cops have chased us to the weed field. But Red has booby trapped his weed field.
Mm-hmm. And so they send off the booby traps. Chong loves this. Chong loves everything in this. You're right. He is completely childlike this whole film.
Yes.
Where did the chickens come from?
Yeah. Have we seen Phil Hartman yet? Did we miss him?
We did.
Okay.
Who was he?
He's a detective.
Where was there a detective?
Yeah, I remember seeing him in the movie when I watched it last week and going, "Hey, that's Phil Hartman." But now I can't remember where it was because it's there and gone.
Yeah.
Like he was a nobody at this point, and yeah, we need somebody to do this 2 lines.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in the Groundlings.
He was in the Groundlings. So.
In the Groundlings. But just when you thought things couldn't get any weirder, after driving to Texas,
okay, yeah, here we go. Here's where I thought that
they get abducted by aliens.
Right. And this came up before E.T., didn't it? Because that ship, I feel like, it's got
no.
like
That's more. This
E.
is more
ship.
This is Close Encounters.
Close Encounters.
This is Close Encounters influence because I think Close Encounters is like 79 or 80, and this film is 80. So that would be my guess. Is that?
Yeah, Close Encounters was 77.
Oh, 77. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, around this time, the spaceships and aliens were a big thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And starting with Close Encounters, basically every spaceship afterwards looked at least a little bit like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean that's totally Close Encounters.
Yeah. Now that I'm looking at it, you are correct, sir.
Okay. Now we're gonna make it really weird. Like it's just gonna keep getting weirder and weirder.
Yep.
Because Cheech goes back to sleep.
Yes.
And now he is going to dream about sacrificing a virgin.
Yeah, so it is really interesting that, like, you know, it's a Cheech and Chong movie, but they're not even together for half the film.
Yeah.
It's Chong and Red, and then Cheech, you know, in an increasingly weird drunken slumber.
Yeah.
But frequently getting to grope on really attractive actresses.
Yeah, that's the other thing about Up in Smoke is that, you know, the girls and the female characters in Up in Smoke, they're a lot more along for the ride, you know. The women in next movie are more like getting duped or jerked around, you know. But the female characters in Up in Smoke mostly just, I mean, as I recall anyway, just seem to be like, you know, having as much fun, being just as goofy.
Yes,
know.
Very much. Having their own agency.
Yeah.
They're part of the story. I feel like here it's more of a plot.
Yeah.
Not a plot, but a prop.
Yes.
What we need is Ajax Girl. Where's Ajax Girl? They couldn't get her back for the movie.
Ajax Girl.
Oh, Ajax Girl.
I forgot about Ajax Girl. Yeah.
Where are you?
And then we're home by the morning.
Chong is zoomed back. He's been dropped off by the UFO. He's gonna tell Cheech all about it, but first he's gonna introduce him to alien space coke. Space coke.
And this was 1980. This was like right at the beginning, I think, of the cocaine boom, right?
Oh yeah.
Cocaine was like really hitting pop culture.
Yeah, I mean it was, the disco scene, I think that really put it into, but yeah, you're right that this is the time when it's a lot of coke jokes and a lot of cocaine awareness in media.
Yeah.
There was one coke joke in Up in Smoke.
Yeah.
I was trying to wonder if there were any.
And then there's
the one.
Well, Ajax Girl.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This very brief heavy metal-esque animated sequence, and I thought that something crazy was going to happen, and then it was just, that's it, man.
Nope,
and
that's
just
it.
Ended. Yeah. And like they couldn't believe that was it either. That's why it just says, "That's it, man."
That's it, man.
Yeah, we got to a point in the script, and
we're done.
That was it.
Yeah.
It was a different time, you understand?
The guitar solos in this, by the way, done by Steve Lukather, was for many, many years a huge session musician in LA. So he was on a lot of albums you didn't know he was on. And then he formed a little band called Toto.
Never heard of him. No, I'm just kidding.
They had like one really awesome song when they first came out.
Yeah.
That Hold the Line was an awesome song.
Yeah.
And I didn't like anything else they ever did.
Love is it oh man, they have so many singles though.
And I don't ever want to hear that Africa song again.
Grammy Award winner.
Which I'm convinced is a song written by a guy who has never been to Africa.
Yeah.
I think that's the point of the song. This guy has never been to Africa.
He kissed the rain that's down there, though, in Africa.
But because what he's describing is not impossible. Those things are so far away from each other, and they have no relationships. And he's never been there. Africa is just an idea in his mind that he's fallen in love with. And so it's kind of a pathetic song, really.
Okay,
But that's my headcanon.
I'm obviously a little high right now because I looked up Toto Africa, and it says people also ask, and this is how I read this question, and I was very confused. I thought it said, "Is Africa by Toto homophobic?" And then I read it says the song has a simple verse chorus structure. It's moderately fast, and the texture is mainly homophobic, which didn't make any sense. And then I realized that the word I'm looking at is homophonic.
I was about to go. Homophonic would make a lot more sense.
I was very.
Now I'm going to listen to that song again, though. Is it? Is it actually?
Is it homophonic?
We're going to pay very close attention to these lyrics.
That's right.
What sort of rain is he talking about?
You piece of shit.
Why is he kissing it?
Yeah. There's a lot of shit that don't make sense in that song. But Hold the Line. Hold the Line is an awesome song. If you're going to listen to one Toto song, it should be Hold the Line.
I'm gonna.
Badass guitar. There's no badass guitar in Africa.
No.
The song.
Not.
There's actually badass guitars in Africa.
Well, they have several singles. I remember recently I was thinking about going to see Toto because, had the opportunity, and I was like, it's probably going to be the last chance ever. And, what the hell? And so I looked up all their top songs, and there's more than one, radio standard.
Oh yeah. They were a thing.
Well, more than two, but yeah.
That's wild though. You were gonna go see them recently?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was probably their last tour.
A lot of
bands lately, it seems like you're just or acts you're just hearing about. It's their last tours.
Yeah,
seems to be something that's just
And or you may realize it's two guys calling themselves Toto, and they
right.
hired a bunch of people.
Oh, is it really?
I
There's
don't
only
know.
two left.
I
Oh,
don't know
yeah,
that
yeah,
case. I'm just saying
yeah.
there's a lot of that out there.
Well, what's
Yeah.
what's the band Can't Stop Believing? Journey. Isn't Journey like isn't there nobody from the original Journey left?
There's a
in
couple
Journey?
guys. I think Sean's original. Neil
Okay.
Yeah.
Sean.
Well,
Jonathan Davis is not original, but he's been around since they were popular.
But there are bands, then I guess not that one, but there's some well-known band out there that like is literally not a single person from the band is left.
Right. There's a couple of those. Steve Perry, honestly, though, I don't think was Journey's first singer, but I could be wrong because I was never a huge Journey fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they had somebody before him, which makes it even stranger. But you know what? Cheech and Chong were always Cheech and Chong, except for a while where Chong tried to go on tour with his wife.
They split up.
Yeah,
while,
that's
right?
Yeah, no, they definitely did split up. Yeah. They they tried doing material that had nothing to do with weed. And then, I think they tried to do weed jokes again before breaking up. And
they recorded an album that was mostly music. Get Out of My Room.
That's right. Yeah, Get Out of My Room. Yeah, that's right. I was trying to think of the name of it. That was not very popular. When they broke up, then Cheech did Born in East LA, which was a parody of Born in the USA.
Yeah, remember that one.
And made a good movie out of it.
Yeah, and there was a movie out of it, and Chong did Far Out Man. He continued to direct films. But
they broke up in '85.
And then he sold bongs and got arrested.
I remember that.
For selling bongs.
Yeah, and now the two of them are back in business together, selling.
Yeah,
and he is still selling bongs.
And Cheech actually played a cop on a TV show for a while.
Nash Bridges. With Don Johnson.
Don Johnson, that's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Chong was on that '70s show.
He had a gig on that for a little while.
And do you remember when Cheech was on the Golden Girls, but it wasn't the Golden Girls, it was Golden Palace?
I never watched it, but I knew it
the
was
hotel. Oh yeah, he was one of the characters when they did a hotel. Did did that whole season air? Did they do the full? I'm sure
I think it was a couple seasons. But, I think it.
No way.
Let's see.
There's no way there's more than one season of Golden Palace. No way.
And they didn't. Okay, it was just one season. You're right.
Yeah.
And let's see who didn't come back. It was Dorothy didn't come back, so it was
B.
Estelle Getty, Rue McClanahan, and Betty White. And then Cheech Marin was the chef at the hotel.
Oh wow! All three of them were in it. I thought it was. Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Now B. Arthur, I don't think ever liked doing that show. And she finally said, "I'm done."
Oh,
she was kind of
on
crotchety.
2 episodes though. Yeah, it says she was credited 2 episodes.
Yeah, you do favors and things.
Yeah.
She was crotchety, and she didn't get along with Betty White.
Oh, really?
Say. Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah, they had personality issues.
Yeah.
Or she had personality issues with Betty White's personality.
Yeah. So when you were talking about watching all of the Cheech and Chong movies, and the previous conversation, I was emphatic about not watching Still Smoking.
Right.
I was wondering, are you thinking about watching the Corsican Brothers though?
I want to watch all of them. It's up to you guys whether or not we want to do them for the show, but I want to watch all of them just for myself, at least.
Yeah, I do not think the Corsican Brothers fits this show because it is not at all stoner.
And Still Smoking we'll skip. Wait, so Corsican Brothers?
Honestly, I would watch it again just for the joy of talking about it if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly down.
Yeah, I would, because
brutal.
Sometimes that's fun.
Is that next or no? Nice Dreams would be
no, Nice Dreams is next.
And that's JD. If you don't remember or have seen Nice Dreams,
I have not.
I'm pretty excited for you. That's it's gonna be fun. I don't want to overhype it, of course. I mean, it's a Cheech and Chong movie.
And it's been a long time.
Don't get too excited,
It's been a long time, so I'm afraid my memory is better than what it's going to be.
But I definitely recall some scene stealing.
God,
so I definitely recall that movie being grabbed away from Cheech and Chong several times for a great effect. So
here's a Cheech and Chong movie I haven't heard either of you mention, and I don't think I've ever heard of before. Things Are Tough All Over.
I have seen it.
That's after Nice Dreams, right?
I have seen it.
It was 1982, and Nice Dreams was.
Oh God! But what was it?
81. So yeah.
Would have been yeah, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen Things Are Tough for all
I have.
Either. Yeah.
And I do not have the best of memories. It's much more of an action comedy. And like Chong is not getting high in the movie. Like that's part of the story. So it's got a weird vibe, and honestly, I don't know if it would fit here or not because I just kind of blanked it out of my mind.
Yeah, the synopsis doesn't really. Okay, so it does say stoner comedy. IMDb has tagged it as a stoner comedy, which I didn't even know was a tag on IMDb until just now. But it says Cheech and Chong are hired to drive a limo from Chicago to Las Vegas by two shady Arabs, Mr. Slyman Cheech and Prince Habib Chong. Unbeknownst to them, $5 million of dirty money has been stuffed throughout the car. So it looks like they each play two characters in the movie then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure them playing Iranians has aged really
but that's
well.
aged well. Oh, it's got Dave Coulier though.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what?
No.
I think we just overlapped our
we did.
Now that you talked about that synopsis, Things Are Tough All Over is coming back to me. So
not in a good way though.
I mean, it's not one that I ever hear people talk about. So
yeah, I think there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Having again, my memories are very vague, but I want to feel like it's like let's erase that.
Although it's directed by. Oh, it can't be the same guy. Okay, yeah, it's directed by Thomas K. Avildsen, who I think I got his name confused with someone else.
Yeah, not ringing any bells.
No.
No.
So, verdict. Next movie.
Yeah, well, we talked about doing Cheech and Chong, and we talked about
no, I mean literally Cheech and Chong's next movie.
Oh, verdict.
Verdict. I'll go first. I loved it. I thought that I was surprised by it. It felt more renegade than the previous Cheech than Up in Smoke did. I liked the surrealist vibes. Yes, I cringed quite a bit as far as certain jokes not aging well, but I liked the spirit of it a lot. It seemed like they were just going for it, whatever it was, and I vibed with it. 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4 blunts. That's my system that I just made up just now.
Excellent. Jethro Butt.
I also enjoyed it. Different vibe than Up in Smoke. Think I'm always going to like Up in Smoke better than this movie. But when this movie goes on a tear, it's pretty fun, and it does that a few times. It stalls at other times, but hey, it's a Cheech and Chong movie,
Yeah.
But I do put Up in Smoke higher than this one, I think, right now. So that's, if we're gonna go through them all, that's the hierarchy right now. Up in Smoke's the bar to beat, But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like fun moments in it, and also there is like that snapshot in time quality that I really enjoyed as well. Like they spent a lot of time in this movie in the outside, and you just got to see what that place and time looked like, and really appreciated that. So yeah,
I'm gonna agree.
I give it 7 thumbs.
It sounds kind of creepy. Yeah. No, I liked it. I'm gonna go with you on that, Jethro Bot. It's still underneath Up in Smoke for me for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But that's not to say I didn't like it. I enjoy it. It drags more, I think. The story just not as coherent. It drags a little more when it does drag.
Yeah, it sputters,
The
yeah.
I'm ashamed that some of the cringy stuff is still funny. But again, I think there's
I think it's funnier if you already know it's there, and like you've kind of already made your peace with it. You're seeing it for the first time, and that stuff's just gonna hit you right in the face. It's not. Yeah,
it's a different time.
It's a different time. There's gonna be some stuff that's, you're gonna get a little.
And
bit
again, you have to remind
daddy,
yourself it's a movie made by people of color,
right? And it's from 1980, and we all remember in the 80s what we thought, even though we've outgrown it along with the world. I think sometimes things like this can, like, even though I hadn't seen it and the jokes did make me cringe, I did find myself laughing because it's like, oh yeah, there was a point in my life. There was a point that I was alive for when this was funny, and this was made during that point.
Yeah.
And it's okay to still, it's okay to
laugh. Yeah, I mean, that's the stuff that just got leaned on a lot at that time,
Yeah, that just was the era. I mean, Andrew Dice Clay was the top comedian. It was the punch down era. It was
he's a perfect example. Like, his stuff is so lazy in retrospect. It's amazing that he had the fame that he did,
But it's because it was just a mean time. It was we liked.
And there's,
we wanted
I
to
think
see people get beat up on.
There's a difference there, though, where the Andrew Dice Clay stuff was mean.
Yeah.
None of this in this movie felt mean.
Not especially mean.
No, it was
like, it's a little bit, like we talked about how the female characters in this movie are different,
Yes,
so like
sure.
it's a little colder, it's humor towards both women and, like, their own races and other races. It's just a little bit colder, like it doesn't have like kind of that like more like a family type thing,
right. Definitely.
But
ultimately this lags behind Up in Smoke because this is, for me, this is not a stoner movie. This is a movie with stoners in it. But rarely was the weed or being stoned the central part of the plot.
Yeah.
It was a thing, and it's there and it's around, but it was not. I don't know. Like I said, that's what pushes it down under Up in Smoke. I still liked it. I still think it's funny.
Yeah.
I would watch it again.
Yeah, but they're chasing money in this movie a lot, instead of like just,
Right. And
it's
it's your oftentimes your sophomore piece is the hardest one because you had your whole life to work on your first one.
Yeah.
And now it's like you got a year, come up with something.
Yeah, you've got Chong chasing money, and you've got Cheech chasing ladies, and you're right. I didn't really think about it until you said it, but it's true. The getting stoned is kind of secondary there. It's not exactly the focal point.
Which is why I am happy for our next movie.
And our next movie is
Nice Dreams.
Okay. I wasn't sure if we were going back to Harold and Kumar.
No. I think we're going to roll with this, and then if we want to do some more Harold and Kumars later,
cool.
I would like to kind of space those out.
Yeah, I'm into it. Nice Dreams.
And throw some other flavors. So what we're going to do after Nice Dreams, that's going to be a conversation. But Nice Dreams, definitely, we got to finish out the trilogy. I want to oversell it, and I can't because I haven't seen it in a long time. But
Jethro Bot,
I'm intrigued to see if it's
excited.
Yeah. In many ways, it was my favorite.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay.
You hear that a lot. You hear a lot of people say that Nice Dreams is their favorite. So,
but I do love me some Up in Smoke, and that revisit. It's going to be hard to beat. But if anything can do it, I think it's going to be Nice Dreams.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have. I mean, it doesn't have to be beat. Like that's. Perhaps it is, just like other comedies of diminishing returns.
We'll see.
Yeah. While we're on the topic of Nice Dreams, my bed is calling again.
Yes, we were about to wrap this up.
There it is. Well, thank you so much for having me back. It's just been wonderful hanging out with you guys, watching these movies, and
Well, it's been wonderful having you here.
It's always more fun to have you, and thank you, Adam and Barbara.
Yeah,
and coming in tonight.
Anyone who's finding this later, if you like what we were talking about, feel free, please, to hit like and subscribe and all that stuff, and leave comments and join us and watch a movie with us and tell us what you think we should be watching, and where we like ideas and we like having people around. So,
yes, please join us.
Oh, also, I was wondering. You showed at the start of the show. At the start of the show, you showed off a joint. I was wondering, how was it?
I am high as fuck.
Was it good for live streaming, or are you like, maybe live streaming's not the best activity?
No, I think it was awesome.
Are you drooling?
Cool. Yeah,
I am not.
Are you drooling? There's no drool.
No,
I was really looking forward to drool.
Yeah, I want my money back.
I didn't finish it.
Well, that's a good indicator.
Well,
right
I'm working.
Yeah.
No, it's good shit. I liked it. I'm gonna say the two I've had of the branded Cheech and Chong stuff is better than most of the other weed that I have bought in Massachusetts.
Oh, all right. Way to go, Cheech and Chong.
So I'm impressed, and I was kind of expecting to be underwhelmed, honestly, but no, they delivered in both cases. So don't expect much if you go to the dispensary. It's a chain, and they're gonna have some decor, and it's fun. I wouldn't go out of my way, except if you're in the area, they got good stuff. Smoke it. That was a whole lot better than the other pre-rolls that I bought.
Oh.
However, oh my God, weed in Massachusetts is so cheap. Did I tell you about the 10-pack I bought? I got 10 pre-rolls for $40. 1 gram.
That is
wow. That's a good deal.
Mix and match.
Wow.
And not as good as what you get up here, but also so cheap that who cares?
Yeah, that's dangerous. 10 for 40. Yeah.
10 for 40, mix and match. So yeah, come to New England. We'll go on a dispensary crawl. See all the weeds.
Ready.
The weeds of New England.
My body is probably ready.
But until then, we're going to call it a night. We will see you back here next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Nice dreams.
Yeah. All right. Well, nice dreams, everyone.
And this is how we close the show.
And good night.